I want you to listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you is something almost no one dares to say out loud. Anal sex doesn't begin with penetration, not even in the bedroom. It starts much earlier, in the mind and in the way you prepare the ground. That's the key that separates a painful experience from one so intense that she herself begs for more. Many men think anal sex is just about being bold, about diving right in. And that's exactly why so many experiences end in rejection, discomfort, or even pain. What almost no one understands is that this practice isn't conquered with force, but with patience and intelligence. The anus is not a tunnel of access. It's a set of fine, delicate muscles surrounded by thousands of nerve endings. A territory that responds first to the mind, then to trust, and only afterward to physical contact. Think of it this way. The body has memories. If she associates anal sex with haste and pain, her sphincter will shut like a vault. But if she associates it with pleasure, with growing arousal, with slow and erotic play, that same door opens on its own, almost as if her body wanted to invite you in. And here's the secret few reveal. When started properly, the anus responds with a sensitivity that can even surpass that of the clitoris or the vagina. And here comes the first move, a clinical and erotic strategy at the same time, the slow awakening. Before even thinking about penetration, let your fingers and your tongue circle the area with soft, moist, circular caresses. Don't go in right away. Play with the outer skin, because that's where the nerve endings send the first jolts to the brain. Imagine you're drawing tiny circles with the tip of your finger or tongue, as if painting a secret onto her skin, while she feels the tension transforming into desire. The trick is to combine rhythm with breathing. While you caress, guide her to inhale deeply and exhale slowly. This synchrony not only relaxes the sphincter, it oxygenates the blood, calms fears, and paves the way for arousal to multiply. It's pure physiology. When the muscle stops resisting, pleasure begins to flow. And here's the unexpected part. Without penetration yet, she already feels waves of heat in her lower abdomen, her back arches involuntarily, and her legs tremble as if seeking surrender. Many men are astonished to see how, without even touching her vagina, she's already wet. That's the so-called mirror effect, the direct connection between anus and vagina. When awakened properly, blood flow in the pelvic area activates both at the same time. It's like turning on a switch in the back, and suddenly the whole front lights up. And the most fascinating part is what happens in her mind. She may try to hide it. She may say she doesn't feel much, but her body betrays her. Her ragged breathing, her goosebumps, and that mix of tension and pleasure are the confession that the forbidden is no longer taboo, but has become pure desire. This is the first real step of pleasurable anal sex, not to enter, but to prepare. Not to force, but to invite. To turn the forbidden into anticipation, the closed into openness, the feared into absolute surrender to pleasure. Because when you learn to begin this way, every movement afterward stops being a struggle and becomes pure complicity with her body. After she has already felt that first awakening, with external caresses that turn tension into desire, comes the most delicate and at the same time the most powerful moment, progressive entry. This is where it's decided whether the experience will be pleasurable or traumatic, whether her body will open with longing or close in fear. And let me tell you something straight. Most men fail here. Why? Because they confuse the signs of arousal with permission to rush ahead. And that mistake doesn't just ruin the moment, it leaves negative imprints that are very hard to erase later. The anus doesn't respond like the vagina. It's a muscular ring that needs time, signals, and trust to relax. Think of it as a guardian. If you force it, it tightens even more. If you calmly persuade it, it opens the door without resistance. That's the difference between pain and pleasure, between rejection and surrender. That's why the first real contact shouldn't be with your penis, but with your fingers. And I don't mean shoving them in, but using them as messengers. Apply plenty of lubricant to the tip, move in slowly, and start drawing small circles around the entrance. No pushing right away. The muscle needs to understand there's no danger. What's amazing is that, as you trace those circles, her body starts sending signals to the brain. The sphincter, which was tight, begins to gradually loosen. Here's a detail few people know. Those micro movements, that gentle pressing and pulling back without actually entering, activate nerve endings connected to the vagina and the uterus. Yes, even without direct contact, she can feel her front intimate area getting wet and throbbing in sync with what's happening in the back. That's the famous mirror effect, an involuntary response that only awakens when the beginning is done correctly. Once you notice the tension easing, comes the key moment, gently introducing the fingertip. But this isn't about going in all at once. What you should do is advance just about a centimeter and then stop. That pause is crucial. While you wait, her body adapts, her breathing synchronizes, and the brain registers the sensation not as invasion but as stimulation. Then you move in a bit more, always with slow, circular motions. The goal isn't depth, it's convincing the muscle it can trust. And here's where the magic happens. When the finger finally slides all the way in, many men expect tension, friction, or resistance. But what they actually feel, surprisingly, is warmth and a firm muscular embrace, almost as if the anus were responding with gratitude for the patience. That sensation is the first sign that her body has surrendered to pleasure. Don't rush. Move in slow circles, just a few motions, and then pause again. Allow her to breathe deeply. Let her moans blend with sighs. Let the opening be voluntary and natural. It's in those silences, those pauses charged with tension, that pleasure multiplies. Because the brain interprets each pause as a reset of the experience, and each reset makes the next movement feel more intense than it actually is. Clinically, this process has a fascinating explanation. The anus shares nerves with the female prostate, the equivalent of the G-spot, and with the pelvic floor muscles. That means that while a finger is working in the back, her whole body responds. It's not just penetration, it's an electrical circuit that lights up multiple zones at the same time. That's why some women, even at this early stage, feel shivers, like spasms, or warmth in the lower abdomen. The second move, then, is not simply finger entry. It's a dance of entering and pausing, of pressure and waiting, of lube and breathing. It's teaching the muscle it can trust, teaching the brain it can enjoy. And when you succeed, when she feels there was no invasion but a gentle conquest, her body changes. Her pupils dilate, her back arches, and even if she doesn't say it in words, everything in her screams that she's ready for the next level. This is the true second movement, progressive entry. And believe me, mastering it already takes you more than halfway toward anal sex that is not only pleasurable but unforgettable.